All right, so today we're doing a deep dive on something that I think a lot of people don't really think about too much.
Okay.
And that's the other ingredients on supplements. We spend all this time looking at our food labels and worrying about, what we're putting in our bodies.
Right.
Then we just kind of pop a supplement and assume it's all good.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of focus is given to the front of the label.
Yeah.
The vitamins and minerals and,
Right.
all that good stuff.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, those other ingredients really can make a big difference.
So what kinds of things are we talking about here? What are some of the common additives that we might see on a supplement label?
There's a whole range of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are there for practical reasons during the manufacturing process. Like,
Okay.
you've got flow agents.
Flow agents.
Yeah, things that stop the ingredients from sticking together.
Oh, okay. So it's like,
Or sticking to the machines.
yeah,
Yeah.
to make sure they all flow smoothly.
Yeah, like in capsules and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's fillers. Fillers are just there to bulk up the capsules.
So it looks like you're getting more.
Exactly. And then binders to hold everything together, preservatives, sweeteners, flavors, and there's a whole bunch of them.
Wow. And are all of these additives bad? Or are some of them actually okay?
Well, that's where things get interesting. You see, the FDA doesn't really regulate the supplement market as strictly as they do food.
Really?
So there are over 3,000 additives that are cleared for use in supplements.
3,000?
3,000. It's mind-boggling, right?
Yeah, that's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, and the problem is a lot of these additives have actually been linked to health issues.
Okay, so that's definitely not what you want when you're trying to improve your health.
No, definitely not. In fact, one source we came across actually compared some supplement additives to ingredients you might find in things like paint, cosmetics, or even asbestos.
Asbestos? Seriously?
Seriously, it definitely makes you think twice about what you're putting in your body.
Okay, yeah, that's a little alarming. So maybe we should back up a bit and go through some of the specific additives that people should be watching out for. Where do we even begin with 3,000 to choose from?
Well, let's start with those flow agents we were talking about.
Okay.
Some of the most common ones are magnesium stearate and stearic acid.
Wait, magnesium stearate, isn't magnesium supposed to be good for you?
Well, yeah, magnesium itself is great, but the research on magnesium stearate as an additive, well, it's a little iffy.
Okay.
Some studies have shown that it can interfere with nutrient absorption in the gut.
So you're taking a supplement to get those nutrients, but then this additive could be blocking your body from actually using them.
Precisely. There's even some concern that it might suppress the immune system.
Yikes. Not good. Okay, so magnesium stearate, definitely one to watch out for. What about those fillers you mentioned?
Ah, yes, fillers. They're kind of sneaky.
How so?
Well, like I said, they just bulk up the capsule, make it look like you're getting more bang for your buck.
Right.
One common filler is decalcium phosphate,
Okay.
and it's often advertised as a source of calcium.
So you think you're getting extra calcium?
Right. But the problem is, this form of calcium is actually poorly absorbed by the body.
So you're paying for a filler, not a benefit.
Exactly.
Ugh, frustrating. Are there other fillers that are problematic?
Oh, yeah. Another one that's pretty common is magnesium silicate.
Okay.
Now, this one's interesting. It's often used in deodorants and cosmetics, and get this, its composition is actually quite similar to asbestos.
Wait a minute. Asbestos? Like the stuff that they used to use in insulation?
The one and the same.
And isn't that, really dangerous?
Well, yeah, there are definitely some concerns about its safety, especially when ingested.
Especially since the FDA doesn't even consider it food grade, right?
Not currently, no.
Okay. So far, it's not looking so good for these additives.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of.
So we've got flow agents like magnesium stearate and fillers like decalcium phosphate and magnesium silicate. What else should we be on the lookout for?
Let's talk about binders.
Okay, binders.
Those are the ingredients that hold everything together in a supplement.
Got it.
You've got cellulose, which is plant-based and generally considered safe.
Okay, that sounds good.
But then you've got gelatin.
Gelatin, isn't that the stuff in Jell-O?
That's the one. And it's derived from animal products. So if you're vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. What about preservatives? I'm guessing there's some shady ones in there too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sodium benzoate is a common one.
Okay.
But here's the catch. When it combines with vitamin C, it can actually form benzene.
Benzene, isn't that like a carcinogen?
Yep. And not only that, ingesting high levels of it can lead to dizziness and stomach irritation.
Not fun. So sodium benzoate, another one to add to the list.
Definitely. And then we've got potassium sorbate, which can be a migraine trigger for some people and can also cause allergic reactions. And then, of course, there are sulfites, which are notorious for triggering asthma and migraines in some people.
Wow, it's like a minefield out there.
Kind of, yeah.
So we've covered flow agents, fillers, binders, preservatives. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. We can't forget about those colors and flavors they add to supplements.
Right, because who doesn't want their supplements to be bright pink or electric blue?
Exactly. But those artificial colors and dyes are there purely for aesthetic purposes. They're not doing anything for your health. In fact, they've been linked to a whole host of problems.
Like what?
Oh, you name it. Cancer, allergies, hyperactivity in children, you name it, they've been linked to it.
Seriously. And they're allowed in supplements.
It's pretty concerning, isn't it? The EU actually has much stricter regulations on those additives than we do here in the US.
Interesting. So they're ahead of the game on that one.
Definitely.
And what about artificial flavors? Those are pretty ubiquitous in processed foods, but are they also a problem in supplements?
Oh, absolutely. They're linked to all sorts of potential health issues.
Yeah.
And there's a real lack of transparency when it comes to what's actually in them.
So it's basically a mystery concoction of chemicals that could be doing who knows what to our bodies.
Pretty much, yeah. And speaking of lack of transparency, there's also the issue of GMO corn-derived ingredients.
Oh, right. GMOs. Always a hot topic. What kind of ingredients are we talking about here?
Well, there are several. We came across sodium ascorbate, ascorbyl palmitate, and cornstarch.
Oh, yeah. I see those on labels all the time. So what's the problem with them?
Well, unless the label specifically states otherwise, these ingredients are likely derived from GMO corn, which is heavily treated with pesticides.
Right. So it's a double whammy of GMO concerns and pesticide exposure.
Exactly.
Okay. Anything else? I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed here.
Just a few more that often fly under the radar. Carrageenan, for example.
Carrageenan, what's that used for?
It's often used as a thickener, but it's been linked to some pretty nasty gastrointestinal issues.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're prone to digestive problems, you might want to steer clear of supplements containing that one.
Good to know. Anything else?
Oh yeah, we've got the classic villain of the nutrition world, hydrogenated oils.
Ah, yes. Trans fats in disguise.
Precisely. They're terrible for your heart health, and even though the FDA has declared them unsafe, they can still sneak their way into some supplements.
It's amazing that they're still allowed at all.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Okay. What else?
And last, but certainly not least, we have soybean oil.
Soybean oil. That sounds harmless enough.
Yeah, but most soybean oil on the market comes from genetically modified soy, which, as we discussed, is heavily sprayed with pesticides.
Right. And of course, there's also the allergy issue.
Exactly.
Okay. I have to say, this is a lot to take in.
It is, yeah.
I'm starting to feel like I need a degree in chemistry just to decode these supplement labels.
I know what you mean. It can get pretty overwhelming.
Well, I guess the good news is we're just getting started.
That's right.
So in the next part, we'll be talking about some natural alternatives to these potentially harmful additives. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I'm ready for some good news after all that doom and gloom.
Well, stick around and we'll give you all the information you need to make more informed choices about the supplements you're taking.
Well, good.
So I know it can sound kind of scary, all
Yeah.
those potentially harmful additives,
Yeah.
but there is some good news.
Okay, good.
There are supplement companies out there that are doing things right.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So, it's not all doom and gloom.
All right, so how do we find these good guys? Is there some sort of secret handshake or a special symbol we should be looking for?
Well, not exactly a secret handshake,
Okay.
but there are definitely some things you can look for.
Okay.
The most important thing, really, is to read the label.
Okay.
I know. It sounds obvious.
Yeah.
But you really do need to take the time to read the entire label, especially the other ingredients section.
Yeah.
It's like the fine print, but for your health.
The fine print for your health. I like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so read the label. What else?
Well, when you're looking at the other ingredients list, pay close attention to the binding agents.
Okay, remind me, what are binding agents again?
Right. So binding agents are what hold everything together in a supplement,
Okay.
instead of using those potentially harmful binders that we talked about earlier.
Right.
Look for companies that are using natural alternatives like oat beta-glucan, acacia gum, or citrus pectin.
Okay, those sound a lot more natural than like magnesium silicate.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but do they work as well? I mean, do they actually hold the supplement together?
They do. They're actually very effective, and they're considered safe. And here's a bonus. Some of these natural binding agents can even provide additional health benefits.
Oh, wow. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal?
Exactly.
You're getting a binder that holds the supplement together, and it's also giving you some extra health perks.
Precisely.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about sweeteners and colors? Because, a lot of supplements have those artificial sweeteners and colors in them.
Right, and those are definitely things you want to avoid.
Yeah.
But there's good news on that front as well.
Okay.
Some companies are now using natural sweeteners, like Palmyra nectar,
Okay.
and they're coloring their supplements with berry fruit extracts.
So instead of getting those artificial colors, you could actually be getting a boost of antioxidants from the colorants in your supplements.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
It shows that there are companies out there who are really putting a lot of thought into the ingredients they're using and the impact those ingredients are going to have on your health.
So it sounds like reading the label is really the most important takeaway here.
It really is.
But with so many different supplements on the market, it can still feel a little overwhelming.
It can, yeah.
So if you had to boil it down to just one thing, what's the one piece of advice you'd give to listeners about choosing supplements?
Become an educated consumer.
Okay.
Don't just grab the first bottle off the shelf.
Right.
Take the time to turn it around. Read that other ingredient section like it's the most captivating novel you've ever encountered.
Be a supplement detective.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you see an ingredient that you don't recognize,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to do a little research.
Okay.
There's a wealth of information available online, and most reputable brands will have detailed information about their ingredients and their manufacturing processes on their websites.
Right. So knowledge is power.
Exactly.
It's about taking control of your health and making informed choices about what you're putting into your body.
Absolutely.
But I have to ask, with all of these potential dangers lurking in so many supplements,
Yeah.
is it even worth taking them in the first place?
That's a great question, and honestly, it's a very personal decision.
Correct.
Something that you should discuss with your healthcare provider.
Right. It's not one size fits all.
Exactly.
Everybody's got different needs.
Everyone's different.
And different health concerns.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that there wouldn't be a blanket answer for everyone.
Right, but this whole discussion about supplement additives is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
It opens up a whole new avenue of exploration, and that is how these additives might be interacting with our gut health.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because our gut microbiome plays such a huge role in our overall health.
Right. It's like this whole ecosystem living inside of us.
Exactly.
And it's only recently that we're starting to really understand how important it is.
Right, and so the question is, how are these additives affecting that delicate ecosystem, and how might that in turn be impacting our overall health?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so it sounds like what you're saying is that our gut microbiome could actually be playing a role in how our bodies react to these different supplement additives.
Exactly. And, it's kind of a fascinating area of research because, like you said, our gut microbiome, it's this incredible ecosystem with trillions of bacteria living in there, and they're all doing all sorts of things.
Yeah.
They're helping us digest our food, they're supporting our immune system, they're even producing certain vitamins.
I've even heard they can affect our mood.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's a lot of research coming out about the gut-brain connection.
right.
So yeah, the gut microbiome is super important for our overall health and well-being.
So how does this all tie back to the supplements?
Well, the thing is, everybody's gut microbiome is unique.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a fingerprint.
Okay.
It's influenced by our genetics, our diet, our environment, all sorts of things.
So you're saying my gut microbiome is different from yours
Exactly.
and everybody else's.
Everybody's gut microbiome is unique, and that's why, what works for one person might not work for another.
Right.
And it could all come down to those little bacteria in our gut.
Okay, so how do these bacteria interact with supplement additives?
Well, scientists are discovering that some of these bacteria can actually metabolize.
Metabolize.
Break down some of these additives.
Okay.
And they can transform them into different compounds.
So some bacteria might break down an additive into something that's beneficial for us, while other bacteria might create something that's harmful.
Exactly. It's kind of a gamble
Yeah.
because we don't really know how those interactions are going to play out in each individual person.
So is there a way to figure that out? Like, is there a test I can take to see how my gut bacteria are going to react to these additives?
Well, there are some tests that can analyze the composition of your gut microbiome,
Okay.
but that technology is still fairly new
Yeah.
and it's not widely available yet.
Okay.
But in the meantime, there are things you can do to support a healthy gut microbiome.
Okay. Like what?
Well, diet is huge.
Okay.
Eating a diverse diet that's rich in fiber.
Okay. So lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains.
Exactly. Fermented foods are also great.
Oh, right. Like yogurt and sauerkraut?
Yeah, things like that.
Okay.
And of course, limiting those processed foods, sugar, and artificial ingredients.
Right, because those can actually harm the good bacteria in our gut. Okay, so diet is important.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Stress management is also really important.
Oh, right. Stress can affect everything,
It really can.
including our gut.
Absolutely. Stress can disrupt that delicate balance of bacteria in our gut.
So things like yoga, meditation, spending time in nature.
Yeah, all of those things can be really helpful for both your mental health and your gut health.
I definitely feel it in my gut when I'm stressed.
I know, right?
So it makes sense.
It's all connected.
Well, this has been so eye-opening.
It has, hasn't it?
I mean, we've gone from deciphering supplement labels to talking about the vast universe that exists inside our own guts.
It's incredible.
It's amazing how everything's connected.
It really is.
And it just highlights how important it is to be an informed consumer and to take care of our overall health, including our gut health.
Absolutely, because knowledge is power when it comes to our health.
Right. And hopefully this deep dive has empowered all of you listening to make more informed choices about the supplements you're taking.
I hope so too.
And to pay attention to those other ingredients.
Yeah, they really do matter.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to ponder. What if some of these additives that we think of as inert, what if they're actually having a much bigger impact on our health than we realize? What if they're interacting with our gut microbiome in ways that we're just beginning to understand, influencing everything from nutrient absorption and immune function to even our gene expression? It's a fascinating area of research, and it just goes to show that we still have so much to learn about the amazing complexity of the human body. Until next time, happy supplementing.